Perfect.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the live. Okay, you guys, so this is going to be actually really fun. Thaddeus has some tools that we're going to go through with EMF. And if you have EMF questions, please put them in the comments below too. Not just if you want to get your comments answered, either tonight or in our next live Q&A, put them in the comments below, not just the live chat. So if there's some...
Yeah, we're not going to revisit the live chat. That's only for while we're online now. So if you're here and you put something in the live chat, we'll try to answer it now. But if it doesn't get answered, put it in the comments below the YouTube video. And that is what we use for next month's Ask Me Anything and Q&A. And if you want to know even more about EMFs, we have a whole course. It's on Dreamwalkerz.ai that you can buy right now for pre-order. As soon as it launches, you will get into the flow of all the videos that are coming with that course. And it's on sale for like 25% off right now as the pre-order. So you might want to go get that now if you're interested.
Sweet. Okay, guys, so we've got some tools. We're going to show you how to use your cell phone safely. And one other announcement that we have, Weston A. Price Foundation is coming up. And guess who's going to be speaking?
So at Wise Traditions, it's Wise Traditions Conference 2026. It's in Washington, D.C. You can find all about it online. It is literally one of the best priced conferences out there for what you get. You get phenomenal speakers, some of the best people we've ever met, like not just the speakers, but the people that attend.
And the best food.
I was getting there.
Oh, I get excited about the food.
But this is one of those conferences where you can pay a little extra. It's not that much extra. And you get fresh, raw, local butter, meats, cheeses, milk, sourdough.
Cold butter.
They do like lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner almost every single day with all the food, and it's a lot of food, and it's really, really good. And you're sitting down with the speakers and everything else. For the price, you really can't beat it. The other place where we'll be this fall, so Wise Traditions is October 16th to 18th, 2026. And then Hack Your Health, also a really good price. They used to be like either $99 or $199 for that whole experience at Hack Your Health for that conference. I think the tickets might be $299 now, but there's typically influencer deals. I don't have one at the moment, but they will probably give you $100 off your ticket. That's also a really good deal for some really high quality speakers.
High class, high quality.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Also, one more thing about the Weston A. Price, you guys. The people there are so awesome. We've been to, we used to do the conference circuit all the time, and honestly, it blew us away. There's just the nicest crowd at Weston A. Price. It's our favorite. So
definitely.
Anyway, okay, and that is going to be talking about EMFs on stage at that one. So if you're in the DC area, get a ticket and come watch us live. There's so many speakers. Like, their lineup is insane. And also, he and I are both going to be talking to kids that day. So if you want to bring your teenagers, they have like a kids program. And we're going to be talking about cell phone safety to teenagers and kids. And I just had a nice little reminder with my own children about putting phones in pockets. And my kids are like 23. And I was like showing them the meter and showing we have a new grandson. And I'm like, this is what microwave radiation looks like. And my daughter-in-law and my son were both kind of like, oh, right. Like that's not great. Right. So anyway, shall we?
We're going to kick it off.
Do the demo first.
Yep.
It's a magic trick.
Go for it.
Well, okay. So Thaddeus is going to show you the two tools that he has. He's going to introduce that.
So electromagnetic fields, there's lots of them. And since the late 1800s is when we experienced these. So back in 1900 and before, there were people in China, high-level kung fu practitioners, meditators, and they called them the immortals. And they could, live a really long time. They had all these crazy supposed powers. And then when they started electrifying homes all over the world, suddenly the people that were meditating in Wudong Mountain, and I can't remember where the other people were, there's another set of mountains where they lived, they said they could no longer get in touch with the realms they used to get in touch with, and they were losing some of their personal power. And that if you slept or meditated in a room with electric fields, electricity, that you could no longer connect with all these things and heal yourself as well. They were talking about this in the early, like 1901, 1902. And so eventually they said, if you're going to meditate, you meditate in a room or you sleep in a room with no electromagnetic fields. Shut off the electricity to any room that you're in when you're doing these things, sleeping or meditating or praying or whatever. And then we went from electrification to telegraph, which is wireless signals being sent through the air, to radar, to microwaves, to television, radio. So radio is modulated frequencies, just like microwave frequencies are today. That's why AM and FM on your stereo dial is called amplitude modulation, AM, or FM, frequency modulation. So they send a signal and then they modulate it with all this noise, this data that's flowing through our bodies nonstop. And that noise is supposed to be read by our bodies. We're supposed to read electromagnetic fields, like natural ones from the earth, and use it to heal, to produce hormones at the right time, to do all these things that our biology is designed to do. And now it's all messed up because we've electrified, radio waved, and whatever else. And like these things are moving through us all the time. And the way you can tell they're moving through you is take a radio and put it behind your back and turn it on, and you can still listen to the music, right? That means the signal's going through you and getting picked up here, and you can turn it to like 500 different stations. Well, the same thing's happening with our electromagnetic fields from wireless communications. So as we send microwaved information through the air, it contains videos and photos and movies, and all that's moving through our bodies all the time. And we can show you that with these meters. So it's odorless, tasteless. You can't see it. It's invisible. So like people forget about it. And obviously it can't be hurting us because somebody would have told us. Well, thousands of people have told us, and you just don't know where to look. And it's all public. So what we do is we get these meters and we utilize these meters to see and hear the invisible electromagnetic frequencies. Our house has no Wi-Fi, and our house has no Bluetooth, and there's very little cell phone service here in our house. So I'm going to show you on these meters how to hear and see microwaves that are all around us. And we're going to talk a little bit about the dangers of that. And then like some really cool things with demos, like these Faraday cages, of how to protect yourself. But first I'm going to have to get some microwaves moving in the house to measure. So I'm going to show you what our home usually is. And what I'm going to pick up on this meter is like the neighbor's Wi-Fi, which is not very close to us. And we're going to pick up maybe some of the neighbor's Bluetooth and the cell phone towers, which you can find. There's a special app that lets you find every cell phone tower around you and how close it is and
What's it called?
Where it is. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh.
So you can sign up for our course and we'll give you all that
okay.
free app and information. This meter, let's see if I can get it in a good spot, is in the green, and I'm not hearing anything. This is what your house should look like all the time. You should be in this really low green, safe range on a microwave meter. And I'm going to have to actually like turn my phone off airplane mode. So you can probably see here, if I get it right, that my phone is in airplane mode. Yeah, it's hard to see, but it's in airplane mode. I'm going to show you what happens when I pull it out of airplane mode. So I'm going to turn it off airplane mode, and we're going to see what happens to the meter here when I take this off airplane mode. And we're going to turn the sound on. So I'm like totally myself right now. Lots of notifications popping up. This is what's happening in your pocket all day long. It's pretty annoying. I'm going to put that back in airplane mode.
Thank you.
Back in airplane mode. This is what airplane mode should look like. Most of your cell phones, I guarantee, go to your cell phone and put it in airplane mode right now. It's not going to look like mine, even though you might have the same iPhone as me or an Android. You're going to find that these other symbols are white and they're not grayed out. That's because when you put your phone in airplane mode, it's not in airplane mode. And we can test that. And we just did that for Heidi's daughter. Her phone was in airplane mode. She told us it was. And then we tested it, and this meter was pinging just like it just was when her phone was in airplane mode. Mine's in airplane mode, and you can see it's not pinging. I'll turn the sound back on. It's really hard to hear. We should have a microphone. Where's our microphone?
It's the last.
Whoa, we're gonna test the mic here for a sec. make sure that everyone's hearing us. I'm going to check my microphone settings. Nope, I guess I can't in YouTube. So it is what it is.
We just ask people to tell us.
Yeah, but I want it on this. Anyway, regardless, in our EMF triage talk that we're going to give at Wise Traditions conference, which they will live stream, and you can probably pay like a real small amount of money to hear all the live streams. They don't live stream every talk. They live stream one talk an hour. Mine will be one of them. You can watch on the live stream. It's way cheaper than attending. I really recommend you attend because you meet the coolest people. However, you'll get to see it on the live stream. And sometimes if the talks are really great, they want to sell all the talks afterwards on a jump drive, like a little thumb drive. They'll put the best talks on for free on YouTube on the Wise Traditions YouTube channel. And mine from last year is up there, and you can see that one for free. So we're going to show you how to do the settings properly on your phone to make sure it's actually in airplane mode. And that's also going to be in our EMF course. You can also Google it. Like, I'm sure you can just look it up. It's all the stuff is free and out there. It's great. Like, our course is going to be really inexpensive. And then you support us with all the great work we're doing to show you all this, and it's all in one place. And then you have access to those things forever. And you might learn some things that are harder to find publicly. Right. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to have to get some microwave radiation going again so I can show you what a Faraday cage does. Someone has a question in the chat about Starlink. That's item number 2 on my list of talking about Starlink, how it works, and the relative safety of satellites. And I think you're going to be really surprised at what you learn about Starlink. And I learned this about Starlink from one of our nation's best building biologists, people that go around the country and the world, making sure your home is healthy from mold, artificial light, that's our big thing, and electromagnetic fields. And they do all the testing, and then they give you recommendations for free. I mean, you pay for them to come test, but then their recommendations on how to fix everything is free. So, and I think it's like $1,100 or $1,200 to have a building biologist come to your house and do all the testing. But they do this for a job. They're super skilled and well-trained, and they've done this, at least the people we know, they do this for a lot of professional athletes, Hollywood stars, and singers, like really high-level people, including medical doctors they're shielding their offices. So they've done a lot of testing and a lot of work, and they taught me about Starlink, which is what I'll get into as item number 2 about what I learned from them on Starlink. And in order to get that info on Starlink from them, you have to pay to be part of their membership. So again, like some of the stuff you'll learn from me is behind paywalls on other people. Again, we're going to put that in our course so we can put it all in one spot and kind of give you a flow rather than like this random thing of me kind of rambling here. So we're going to turn this back on. We're going to get the sound, and I'm going to have to turn on some microwaves, and these microwaves are going to go off shortly because my phone just doesn't keep pinging forever. But let's get this moving for you. It's a Faraday cage. So we're just going to put it in the Faraday cage. We're going to close it. As you can see, this opening, if you don't get it closed all the way, you're going to get microwaves coming right into your Faraday cage and pinging your meter. But when it's closed all the way, you're going to get no sound coming off of this if you close it all the way properly. So the key is that in a Faraday cage, and now you're going to see this kind of go crazy. In a Faraday cage, you have metallic lining, and that metallic lining, let me turn this off. When covering an electromagnetic frequency or electromagnetic field, is going to stop the field from penetrating if it's made of metal. So silver, nickel, aluminum, copper, all of these things can prevent electromagnetic fields from coming out of something if you place it inside a Faraday cage. So you can use aluminum foil, you can use a metal box, you can use Mylar potato chip bags, and all of those things can act as Faraday cages. A lot of the Faraday cages that people have online that you can buy too are super effective. The ones that we make are like really a little bit more portable, and you can utilize them for some more things. And the key is silver, if anyone's been paying attention to precious metals, is a really good blocker of electromagnetic fields, but the price went from like $11 to $20 to $120. So when you use silver shielding, it gets very pricey. So if you were to make these bags out of silver like we used to, and if you have one of these bags that we used to sell made out of silver, it's probably worth a lot more money. So now they're using nickel and copper, which are actually better blockers of electromagnetic fields than silver is. So these are now made out of nickel and copper, these Faraday cages. And again, when you use a Faraday cage, the key is that, especially on this style, a lot of them, they've got Velcro, and you can Velcro over the top, and they're a nylon, kind of like rigid. That's going to be the way that you need to seal it. And it needs to have metal on the top of the Velcro to fold over the phone and stop the fields from coming in or out. It also stops your GPS tracking chip from tracking you, which is going to be more important as we move into 2030. And that's just because of all the 5G, 6G, and the marketing that's going to target you specifically based on location on your phone to build a profile of you, where you are, what you're buying, what you're doing. And then they can really manipulate you easier with marketing. And it doesn't seem like that to you because it's things you want to see and you want to buy. And you're like, hey, this is great. But you are being manipulated and targeted. And some people, when they want to stop that, you're going to want to use like a Faraday cage of some sort.
Did you talk about the juicy stuff of that Ghislaine Maxwell lady who didn't have one of these?
No. Go for it.
Well, I mean, if you guys remember back in 2020, there was like, what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. And she was caught like in her car or whatever. And
in her house in Maine.
Oh, in her house in Maine? Well, why don't you just tell it? You know more than I do.
So Epstein, when that whole thing went down, Ghislaine Maxwell was wanted. So she was not in the U.S. And if she ever came back to the U.S., she would be arrested. And obviously she was arrested because she came back to the U.S. to a home in Maine, and she put her phone in a Faraday cage, but she used aluminum foil. I was going to say a potato chip bag, but it was aluminum foil. I'm going to put this back in airplane mode. She used aluminum foil, and it leaked, and they were able to pinpoint her phone as being in the U.S. and Maine, and they arrested her. So when you choose a Faraday cage,
but hold on, she didn't even have like a really pretty Dreamwalkerz Faraday cage.
She probably should have had a military grade Faraday cage bag.
I just wanted to come in and say that. I think that's funny.
So one of the largest purchasers of Faraday bags and Faraday cages, like room-sized Faraday cages, is the U.S. military, because obviously when they want to conduct secret meetings, they can't have people listening in on them. So number one, we can see these fields, and you get the red, yellow, green that everyone saw in here of like safe, not so safe, severe danger. And you saw that your cell phone actually has like higher radiation than the cell phone towers. And so we could go into that, and we do go into that in our training and our videos. But the other meter we have, I'm going to turn this on. This one not only gives you the red, yellow, green as well, but it actually gives you the milliwatts per meter squared, which is the intensity of the microwave radiation or electric or magnetic fields that you're around. So you can not only on this type of meter determine if you're in the red, yellow, green. You can see we're in the green, and we're at 0.0004 milliwatts per meter squared. And those readings are important because according to building biology, there's safer and less safe ranges. Am I showing you the German? Yep, so that's the German. There's the American version. And so you can see based on the reading, the actual like radiation values. And in some cases, if it's a strong enough signal, it'll show you the frequency that the microwave is running at. So every microwave, like your Wi-Fi, runs at a different frequency than cell phone data, a different frequency than Bluetooth. Surprisingly, your Wi-Fi runs at the exact same frequency as your microwave oven. It's the same. So you can look at the back of your Wi-Fi router, 2.4 or 2.45 gigahertz is the frequency it runs at. And your microwave, click it open. Hopefully you don't have one, but if you do, I don't, but I've tested. You go to our YouTube channel, and we have lots of tests of people's microwaves. And I think it took this meter, it took me going from their kitchen out their front door and into the street before this meter stopped pinging red when their microwave oven was turned on. It leaks like crazy. They all leak like crazy. I have not found one microwave oven. No, I found one in the whole US that I've tested that didn't leak. All the rest of them leak out the door. And that microwave oven if you look on the back or you open up the door and you look on the inside of the door, it's running at 2.4 or 2.45 gigahertz. That's the same as your Wi-Fi router. They just run at a different power density. So like more power goes in the microwave, less power goes into your Wi-Fi. So put your Wi-Fi under your bed for the whole night, and you're like slowly microwaving yourself. Legit. So, okay, that's Faraday cages, which you can find all over the internet. There's different styles, and most of them are going to do a pretty good job blocking microwave radiation. When you get a microwave radiation source really close and a really high intensity to any Faraday cage, except like solid, thick metal boxes, they do tend to leak when they're really close and they're pushing a high power density. So know that unless you literally get, a metal box. And all the other Faraday cages that we've measured and the building biologists tend to measure, they show some leakage, but especially if you're not sealing them properly. That's really the key. Also, the cool thing about any Faraday cage is if you do have to have your phone in your hands, pretend this is my phone, or actually get my phone, you can then use this in your hand with the Faraday cage underneath, so you're at least not microwaving all portions of your body as much as you would be without it. So we're going to get to the first question, which is, how do you answer something?
Hold on. There is one question that a lot of people ask that I just kind of want to throw out there, and it's all about the EMF pendant. So I think people are always, they're always interested, like, does the pendant work in the shungite, or like, what's your thought on that?
I think we'll do that in the course.
Really?
Yes. It's too controversial for me to do here.
But it's funny. Okay.
I won't. It's so controversial whenever we talk about that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to put that behind a paywall. Because my opinion is very strong, and
okay.
I don't want that out there.
Okay.
I've got too much flack.
Okay. So first question, I digress.
Oh, we're supposed to talk about Starlink, which I've said 5 times. You got to go to Starlink.
Starlink.
Yep. And we have, so.
Her question is about Starlink.
But I want to go into generals first.
Okay. So what do we do with the technology we still need is like kind of the overall question.
Okay.
So let's start with Starlink. What is it? Like, what do you know?
So if you still need technology, like you work from home, but you're in a rural environment and you don't have any internet connection, like Starlink is the way to go, right? That's what you have. And so Starlink, the generals are, you get a satellite dish and you put it somewhere on your property. And that satellite dish then will receive a beam from a quote unquote satellite, whatever is up in the air, sending the signal down. I honestly think that there's some ways, like if you look at how the Earth in the environment works, you can shoot a signal from Earth and use the atmosphere to bounce it off the atmosphere and down to a receiving dish without using any satellites. So I guess I would question whether all of the Starlink is running 100% through satellites or whether some of it's actually being beamed up and then using the atmosphere to come back down. But regardless, it's coming from above. And that's, sorry, there's a ton of noise outside right now. It's so loud. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. So suddenly the utility companies want to do a bunch of work outside our house and it's really loud.
Why today?
Because they don't want us talking about this. That's how the universe works. So we're talking about Starlink. And there's a cone or a cylinder that's beamed down from Starlink within the vicinity of your dish receiver. And then what's happening is there's a wire. So it's taking the link, internet link, let's just call it the internet link, and it's sending it through a wire from your satellite dish to your modem. Every house, whether you have Starlink or Xfinity or whatever, Verizon, you have to have a modem. The modem takes in the signal from the cable, which the cable is coming from the cable television or the cable company like Xfinity, or it's coming from the cable going to the dish for your Starlink. So everything comes in your house on a cable to a modem. Now, most modems have Wi-Fi built into them. So most people, when they connect it to the cable, to the modem's then going to blast out Wi-Fi, and you're going to be under the same Wi-Fi spell as everyone else that uses Wi-Fi, whether you're Starlink or Xfinity or whatever. But for Xfinity, you can turn the Wi-Fi off on that modem and hard connect it, or you can get a Wi-Fi free modem, a modem that has no Wi-Fi. Like there's no Wi-Fi radio antennas in there to be turned on. So you can put that in, and then you can just send hard connections through your home, and you can connect that way through Starlink. Now, everyone asks, like, Starlink has got to be bad, right? Because they're just sending down this big signal from the sky, a satellite signal of EMF. And where is it going? Who does it hit? How intense is it? And what we hear from the building biologist, somebody said, what group do I recommend? I recommend Shielded Healing. That's Brian Hoyer and his group. Their group is all over the country where they can do assessments. And Brian Hoyer, he's all over social media now. He's at a lot of conferences. We invited him and Daphne Tackover. Daphne Tackover is an attorney. She was EHS, like electro hypersensitive, and she was the attorney for RFK Jr. when they sued the wireless companies and the FCC. And she put all that together with some of the other attorneys on staff. She's no longer working for RFK Jr., but before she ever worked for him, back in 2018, Heidi and I had Brian Hoyer and Daphne Tackover for a whole week, and we had a 3 or 4 day retreat. I think it was Thursday through Sunday, out at the Point Retreats, which no longer exists, in Minnesota. But we had them to ourselves for a whole week in the retreat for 4 days, teaching us about EMF and showing us with all the meters how to do all this stuff. So like those people trained us, and Brian is really, really good, and his team is really good. There are other building biologists that you can hire that are also really good, like Orem Miller in California. He used to be in Minneapolis near us. Now he's in California. Orem Miller, can put his name in, and there's a bunch of YouTube videos. He doesn't have his own like channel under his name, but he has a lot of videos that show you some really cool stuff. That's Orem Miller. He's really good. And then Damian Coyne, I think, is the person in Minneapolis now people say is good. I've never met him. He's supposed to be really good. And then there are a couple other people that are also great, but I just like Brian because he's national. He has a shielded shop where you can buy a bunch of stuff that's really good for reducing EMF all around you where you live every day. So Starlink, back to Starlink and the blast of EMF coming from the satellite, it's localized. It really only affects something like 3 feet around the antenna that you set up in your yard, the dish. So what you want to do is, I think they give you, like, I'm no expert on Starlink, but I think they give you like various places in your yard where you can set up the dish. What I would recommend is put the dish out in your yard, away from your home and away from places where you're at all the time. Put it on top of a shed, put it in your yard, put it in a tree, put it on top of a garage that you're not in all the time. And then within 3 feet, that signal is going to come down, and it's not coming down continuously. It's coming down, intermittently when it's called for. And don't stand in that vicinity and you'll be fine. Then it uses a cord, like an actual physical cord, to bring the internet to your house. That's totally fine. And then when you set it up in a modem in your home, you have the option to use Wi-Fi then in your home, fine, and turn it off when you don't need it by just unplugging the cord. Or you could use Wi-Fi free. And in our course, we go step by step in our bonus videos in our course, showing you how to do a Wi-Fi free home. So most of you know I'm a corporate executive for a larger global corporation. We also, my wife and I run this business, everything from home. And we have no Wi-Fi. So like it is possible that your phone, your tablet, your laptop doesn't need to be on Wi-Fi. The gaming systems, the televisions, the printer, none of that's on Wi-Fi in our house. We don't have Wi-Fi. Like there is no ability to turn Wi-Fi on in our house anymore. And that's been almost 6 years. And we've run a business and my daily corporate job on videos all the time.
Cell phones.
We're on video now, and you don't need Wi-Fi. And our cell phones, now, yes, if I have to make a phone call on my cell phone, now I can make a phone call on my app on my laptop with no Wi-Fi. But if I want to make a phone call on my cell phone, you have to turn the cell phone on and use cellular data and calling to make that phone call from your home. But then you just turn it back on airplane mode. So what Heidi is saying though is you can utilize all the data on your cell phone. So like Instagram, Facebook, email, WhatsApp, whatever you want, by just plugging it into a landline with no Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi needed. You don't need Wi-Fi, people. Landlines are faster, way faster than Wi-Fi. People are so scared to unplug their Wi-Fi router. Like, we didn't have internet when I was a kid. We didn't have Wi-Fi till I was like way into my adulthood. And so like, you can unplug Wi-Fi, nothing's going to be harmed unless you're running a security system at home that runs off Wi-Fi. And we have a security system and it's hard connected to LAN, the local area network with cables, no Wi-Fi. So also, if you have Wi-Fi, the police, I mean, not that the police are bad people, right? But they don't always do things like that are in your best interest sometimes. Or the FBI or whatever lettered agencies, like they can come sweep your Wi-Fi and just grab all the data from it. And they can't do that at our house because we don't have any. And they do that to your neighborhood when they're trying to find somebody and they're trying to find their phone. They're trying to find like, where is this criminal individual? And even if they're in your neighborhood, they're just going to sweep everybody's data. Like they're not going to sweep mine. So you can protect yourself from that, like just from people having your private data you don't want them to have. Great. So we show you how to do that in our EMF course of like step-by-step how to turn off your Wi-Fi. And I actually have on dreamwalkerz.ai, we have a blog post up. It's up today. And it shows you how the Wi-Fi in our house is blasting out Wi-Fi from the Xfinity router, even though the Wi-Fi is turned off. So we actually had to pull the Xfinity router out of our house and get rid of it. I had 2 techs from Xfinity here for 6 hours and they couldn't shut off the Wi-Fi. They couldn't get the landlines to work. It was a big mess. Anyway, it took us almost 2 weeks to figure out the modem situation, but that's on dreamwalkerz.ai in a blog post. And also here on this website on YouTube, there's a video showing you some of this stuff. So like people are like, how do you do this? It's step-by-step in our course. It's also step-by-step on some of our other YouTube videos you can find online for free. And it's going to be built into our course in like a really easy way to do it. And you can also go to YouTube and just put like how to get rid of Wi-Fi at your house. And people show you step-by-step in like some really good videos. There's a couple great ones, a couple bad ones. It's way easier than you think to get rid of Wi-Fi in your house if you want to do it. And now you'll find in my article, I think I put this in my article, Xfinity turned on. It's been turned on for 5 years, right? But they're telling you that you can now benefit from having a camera in your home watching you without a camera. Your Wi-Fi is a camera. So remember we talked in the beginning of this video that your Wi-Fi in your home, anywhere, in the street, in the coffee shop, it's sending out invisible signals that flow through you all the time, always, because I can turn my phone on and I can get Wi-Fi. Now, I'm not getting my Wi-Fi because I don't have any here, right? But I can get the neighbor's Wi-Fi. I can't log into it, but I can see that on my phone. If I look for Wi-Fi signals, like show me the Wi-Fi networks that are available, there's 20. And I don't live that close to people, but Wi-Fi is strong. I've got 20 signals here in my house. They're really weak, but there's 20 of them. That Wi-Fi, just the Wi-Fi, like this little black box, has no camera. It can act as a camera. It can see you. It can determine you versus your son versus a stranger in your house. It can see hand gestures that you're doing, and it can follow you around the house through walls. No camera needed. Cameras can't go through walls, but your Wi-Fi can, and your Wi-Fi is now a camera. Your Wi-Fi has been a camera for 5 years, and they only started telling you about this at Xfinity 1 week ago because I went with my stupid Xfinity router that they guaranteed me I could disable the Wi-Fi. I disabled the Wi-Fi according to their directions, and freaking Wi-Fi was still on because I tested it with my meter. Thank God I have this. They lied. I'm not happy about it. So as I was in the Xfinity app, because now you can't put any modem in your house unless you get the Xfinity app, and they refuse to give you service without putting the app on your phone. Fine. So I went into the app to turn the router on, and the first router they gave me, I just did what they told me on the app. Fine. It didn't work. So the tech ripped the router out and he gave me a new router. So I went back into the app. And when I went back into the app the second time for the second router, it was the same router as the first one. It's like different serial number, right? But the same model number. Now suddenly there was a pop-up that said, do you want your Wi-Fi router to be a camera? No camera needed, no equipment needed, just push this button and we can now use your Wi-Fi router as a camera. We can tell you if there's someone in your home when you're not there, all this stuff. This has been built into the Wi-Fi for 5 years, but they're just allowing you to now access it. That means everywhere you go that there's Wi-Fi, you can be tracked and traced. It's acting as a camera that can see you through walls. And if you have Wi-Fi in your house, I don't know how that data is being used, but I like to feel like I have some sort of control over my life and my privacy. And now that they're utilizing Wi-Fi as a camera, just think about this. Like everyone's focused on flock. And they're like, I can see those flock cameras and we want them torn down and it's a violation of privacy. You know what they're not seeing? They're not seeing the little black device that's under the counter at the coffee shop that is the camera that doesn't need to see you physically because it's invisible and it goes through the walls and it sees you and it can tag who you are from place to place just with the Wi-Fi. And it's doing the same thing in your house. And now you for the first time can also see some of that data for yourself. So if you have Wi-Fi and you haven't really ever set up a video camera surveillance service for your home, but you always wanted a Ring camera, but you didn't want to give your data to Google, you can just turn on Wi-Fi motion from Xfinity. I don't recommend it, but if you're already using Wi-Fi, you can probably take advantage of that. And they're already using your data and probably have been for 5 years. And that was conspiracy theory 5 years ago. And like now, you can find like 10 news articles that were just published last week about it. Okay, so that is Starlink. Starlink is pretty safe. And we recommend if you're in an area where you can use Starlink, like it's pretty good service. Like use Starlink and just don't put the receiving device like where you spend a lot of time and you're going to be fine. So Starlink's really showing like that it's a great product. It's not blasting a bunch of EMF out there. And you then choose if you want to put a Wi-Fi router and blast yourself with Wi-Fi. If you need to use Wi-Fi, like you're at work, you have to have Wi-Fi at work. You're at the coffee shop, you're at the library, you haven't hardwired your house yet. So we recommend, that's great. Your body needs to heal from the Wi-Fi at some point. Like turn it off at night. You can unplug the Wi-Fi router and then plug it back in the morning. On our website, we do have something that I invented back in 2015. I had a video on the Aerosfit channel, one of these business. It was like just a blog that my buddy and I started called Aerosfit, and I did a video on turning off your Wi-Fi router in 2015 with a Wi-Fi router remote control, like that I created, and it got like 275,000 views back in 2015, 2016. I don't think it is available anymore because we shut the Aerosfit channel down. Now there's people that make Wi-Fi router remotes. We have one on our website, but I wasn't the first person that did that. So I had a ton of views and I wish I would have kept going with that topic back in 2015 because I probably would have been really famous right now with all the EMF stuff. But anyway, I put that out there and now people take advantage of it. So you can literally use a remote control and you can like put it on your nightstand. And when you go to sleep, you turn the Wi-Fi off. And when you wake up, you turn the Wi-Fi on. It's super easy. Or you can use like a timer. Like you can put the Wi-Fi on a timer so it turns off every night at 10 p.m. and it turns on every day at 4 a.m. I don't know. But then that sucks if you're like watching a movie at 11 p.m. and your Wi-Fi turns off.
Wait. Hopefully you're not watching a movie at 11. That's circadian friendly.
It's not, but it happens.
Do you need some more water, babe?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So get a Wi-Fi timer if you have Wi-Fi. Like what Heidi loves to say is like, don't stress about all this stuff and like, don't make it more complicated. Reduce all the EMF that's around you as much as possible. And then there's ways to make your body more resilient and to heal from the EMF. There's like two really easy ways that are free that everybody can do to heal from EMF. And you should be doing those every single day. And they're super powerful. And so then like, if you have Wi-Fi in your house or you're at a workplace with Wi-Fi, you like do these practices when you get home and they're free. And then you're like dumping all that inflammation out of your body and you're making yourself resilient and probably going to get better sleep that night. So those two things are grounding and like a shower or a bath. Like super easy.
Poke me in the eye. Okay, we're going to keep moving on because we've got about 20 minutes left and we've got some more questions.
Yeah, those were deep dives like on some of those things. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, no, that was exciting. Okay, what building biologist? We already talked about Brian
And
Hoyer.
Jiggly Wiggly, welcome. Thanks for doing it. We do have a sunrise challenge, everybody, right now.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Did you answer this question? I'm in Indiana, where it's hard to find qualified professionals. I know I have mold somewhere, but I can't locate it.
Yeah, so building biologists will find mold. They'll
They
find
will?
geopathic stress. Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
oh yeah.
Oh,
So that's why they're building biologists. They do all that stuff.
Oh,
Again, shielded healing. So
did you guys know that? That's crazy.
definitely look up shielded healing. They're all over the country.
Okay, Carolyn's saying how, but how what?
She said thanks because I got her.
Oh, okay.
Took care of her.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna segue. Did you go through all the phone stuff? You showed the microwaves and how to turn off all the things. Did you go through that?
No, we're not going to go through the turning them off. That's going to be in my presentation.
Okay.
Wise Traditions.
Okay.
I have some stuff. Watch my presentation. It's going to be live streamed.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna move on to some of the light stuff. Is that what you want to do?
We're
Okay.
definitely going to move on to
Shielded healing. Yeah, Brian.
That's it.
Brian Hoyer is his name. He's on Instagram too, you guys. And you can go to Shielded Healing and Shielded Shop. Shielded Healing
it's all
Shop.
on shielded healing.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be a shop, there'll be a blog, all that stuff.
Okay, so let's see. Jiggly Wiggly is saying, I'm doing your 21-day sunrise challenge. Yay, thanks for doing that. And I'd like to know what's the minimum amount of time I need to be outside to be effective. I'd like to be out for 30 minutes, but that's not always feasible. What do you think, Dottie?
Minimum amount of time. So preferred minimum amount of time, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If you can get 5 minutes, that's great. Like just do 5. I would say like that's the true minimum. I'd rather you do 15. So 15, I would say, is like your bare minimum would be the ideal. So 15 minutes, you don't need to do 30. My preference is 15, and I try to go 45. So like if I can be outside for 45 minutes, I totally will. Can't happen every day, but I get inside. We work from home. These are 5 windows, and this is Heidi's desk, and my desk is in a different office with 4 windows and 2 skylights. So I open the windows. Even in the winter, I will open the windows sometimes just for 15 minutes in the winter. So it's not too cold because it gets quite cold here and we lose a lot of heat out the window. But I will try to do 15 minutes and then I'll open a window at my desk. And then if I have more time where I can be outside, sometimes we take training courses to learn a lot of stuff as well. So sometimes Heidi and I will be outside from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. doing the training course, and we'll be outdoors listening to it while we're outside for like that whole 45 minutes to an hour. If you're driving to work, roll a window down, like all those things. That's extra time getting natural light. Indoor light is alien light. It's malnourishing to your body. Light is nutrient, light is drug, and it has true biological effects, including physical effects. Like it builds physical things in your body, and it also tells your body to do all this stuff with hormones. And so when you're getting malnourished by the wrong type of light, they call it malillumination, you're getting the wrong nutrients. It's like, hey, I'm going to go out and eat McDonald's and a bunch of Twinkies for the next month. It's probably not going to do good things for your body because those are all signals and they all get incorporated into your body as building blocks from then on. Now you're getting incorporated with damaged seed oils and polyunsaturated fatty acids that are all messed up, right? And a bunch of sugars and trans fats and fake sugars and whatever else is in there. Same with light. Like your body is building things inside itself from light. And so when we're indoors under artificial illumination that's designed to let you see, but nothing else, not designed for your health. And meanwhile, our biology is designed to use light as a drug and a nutrient. We're like mainlining junk processed sunlight. This is not good for you. And so like the more time you spend inside, the more heroics you have to do with the glasses and grounding and all this other stuff. So like indoor light is really bad. And people, even though it's visible, people make it invisible because it's like always around. So they don't think anything of it.
Okay, we have a comment on Instagram. I just wanted to share it with you guys. So Monica in Alberta says, I'm pretty sure I unplugged Wi-Fi because of you. Haha. We do watch movies at 11 o'clock. And she said, usually wearing blue blockers. Time to get serious about circadian rhythm. Can you comment on that?
So I've never been a night owl person. And night owl is really a bad term because owls have biology that's called nocturnal biology, and humans don't. Like, we don't have nocturnal biology. We have diurnal biology. So when you go against your biology and stay up late watching movies and work second and third shift, like, there's a biological consequence. It's real and it's no good. So you can't go against nature and think that there won't be a problem. There will be. And what I found, I had insomnia for like 18 years. It was really bad. And I looked for every way to solve it, whether it was medication and supplements and whatever else. And like, either nothing worked, or the things that could work, I didn't want to rely on because they weren't solving the problem. But when I put on a pair of blue light blocking glasses and fixed my light environment, it allowed me to sleep and get tired. And what happened is, when I started seeing sunrise, my body naturally got sleepy at sunset. I went to bed earlier. I got up earlier. And I, like, all those night owl tendencies go away when you get out at sunrise and when you wear blue light blocking glasses at night. Like, you start to see your biology go back to normal. People say it shifts, but it goes back to normal, how it should be. Now, there are some people that are going to have to work at night right now. And thank God for those people. Like, if I get it, like, no, if somebody gets in an accident at night and they need to go to the hospital, I'm really happy they're there.
Nice catch.
But if you are that person, like, I think this is a great use for autonomous robots. Like,
Right.
They should be working the night shift and we should be sleeping. And if you work the night shift, I would highly recommend you do everything you can to get healthy by utilizing light as a drug to shift your cycle. And it's still not going to be perfect, and look for a way to work first or even second shift as a better option. Or just do it for so many years and then find a way to switch, or do like 1 month on, 1 month off, so you get some way to fix your system every year. Okay, so what we find is, like, often when we go out for sunrise and we make that a practice, we're wearing blue light blocking glasses at night, it's going to be hard to stay up for an 11 o'clock movie. We find that over and over. And so I think that's just something like your biology it will attune to, which is great. All right, Heidi's showing me a couple things that we want to show you with the last few minutes, and then I'm going to open up to more questions or end. Number one, electromagnetic frequencies. There is something that no one should ever do. And even the cell phone companies and even our own US government, the National Toxicology Program and like the FCC, says to never do this one thing on your phone. How many people do this? I mean, this is what you do with a phone, right? Where's Heidi's phone?
It's here. It's on Instagram.
This is the phone that you can do that with. Most people don't have these phones anymore. I don't either, really. But anyway, back in the day, you could totally do this. This is how you use a phone. Makes sense. You're not EMFing yourself. There's a tiny bit of electric field in here. That was it, right?
So
but today, you can go to NTP cell phone study. It's on like National Institute of Health.gov. We did the study, US government. And it says, don't put your phone to your head. Use speakerphone or headphones, but headphones have a wire on them. Here's a wire, it's a metallic wire. And what's happening is the EMF from the phone can crawl up this wire and then go into your brain, and sometimes be more intense than using the phone from far away. So what we have on our website and what you can find are air tube earbuds. So these are earbuds, right? But they have a shielded cable, and then that cable stops before it gets to your head. This is see-through. This is just plastic, like silicone tube that allows the sound to come up to your head without a direct antenna coming to your head. Okay, so that's how even the NTP, National Toxicology Program, tells you to use your cell phone. The other way is speakerphone, right? So you can set it down away from you and use the speakerphone. That's pretty annoying if you're going to do that at the airport, just saying.
Please don't do it at the airport.
The people that sit next to us and
Oh my God.
yell loudly, and the person on the phone is yelling, and like, we're waiting for the flight, like, get a pair of earbuds. Don't use your speakerphone at those times, but in your vehicle, sure. This is the other thing you probably have seen connected to my phone. So this is the mic lock. And so remember, like, that Wi-Fi is now a camera, and it can follow you everywhere and identify you. So when you go to the coffee shop, to the library, they don't need cameras. They can still identify you based on the Wi-Fi and start building a profile from there. it's kind of getting weird. So your phone has a speaker that's listening to you all the time, and people all the time, they're like, I just talked about whatever, dog beds, and now I'm getting ads on my phone on Facebook for dog beds, but all I did is talk about it. My phone, wasn't searching for it when I was going on a Google search or whatever you're searching for, DuckDuckGo, right? So this is a mic lock, and you can plug this into the port on your phone, and it stops your microphone from listening to you. That means that when you get on a phone call, microphone's not going to hear you, so you got to unplug it when you call on the phone. But this device will protect your privacy from when you're talking about things with your phone around. That and putting into a Faraday cage, because there's another thing that we haven't talked about, which are the MEMS chips that are in a lot of consumer technology, including phones. And the MEMS chips are really interesting. I want to do a lot more talking, and maybe even in our training course, about the MEMS chips and privacy. So we talk about the Wi-Fi, right, following you around, but the MEMS chips are like, they can measure your breathing rate, your heart rate. They can go through walls. Your phone can be on your desk. You can be in your bed. It's measuring your heart rate and your breathing rate. And using that private data, like the whole purpose of the MEMS chip is to sell that private data. They say they keep it anonymous. I don't necessarily buy that, but I'm also not giving my consent for them to use my data from the MEMS chip. I don't want them to have my heart rate out there and utilize that for who knows what. So again, when it's in a Faraday cage, it can't send that signal from the MEMS chip out to find you.
And don't plug it in the rental car.
So when we're on the concept of data privacy, most people, when you travel, you might rent a car or be in an Uber, and there's those really convenient USB ports to charge your phone. Those are not charging. They're not to charge your phone. You would think they would be to charge your phone, but you'll notice your phone charges ridiculously slow because they're not meant to charge your phone. They're meant to take your data. So they do two things with your data. They take it into the car so that you can play music and Bluetooth and all that connected through the car. Fine. However, and you can use your phone on the navigation tabs of the car, but the car companies are also taking your private data as soon as you plug it into that USB charger. They're taking your data, and each rental car has cell phone service built into the chips and Wi-Fi and some other stuff. So they're sucking that data and then they're pushing it to the rental car companies, your private data from your phone, just because you plugged it in to charge. When you have one of these mic locks, this mic lock company, so we sell some of these on our website, so does the mic lock company. This microphone blocker also acts as a data preserver. So if you plug this into your cell phone and then you plug the charging cord into here, it does not allow data to come through that cord. Whereas if you plug the cord directly into here, it does allow data to come through and get sucked in by the rental car company. So you can utilize this to save your data and charge your phone without somebody stealing that data.
Okay, so we've got a question. It says, will this be available later? I have to jump off. Yes, of course, Carolyn. All of our lives will be stored under Live and Dreamwalkerz channel, the one that you're on. And then Trudy, oh, hey, Trudy, how's it going? She says, can you comment on supplementation that may help with EMF protection internally? So crazy that you said that, because we were just talking about that last night with the wheatgrass juice. Ann Wigmore talks about radiation, but she was talking about this, you guys, back in the 1980s, I think. Those who don't know who Ann Wigmore is, she's a old school, well, she's not alive on the planet anymore, but she's old school, like total raw vegan type lady. Trudy, maybe not quite your jam for that, but she did have a study that showed radiation in lab rats, that they lived during lethal doses of radiation just by giving them broccoli. And then so Anne kind of, I don't know, took that information and was like, well, if all of these things are apparent in broccoli and other leafy dark greens, and wheatgrass juice is 100 times that, she kind of made an assumption that wheatgrass and chlorophyll is probably something that would help with radiation to be taken internally. And we just started like our own, I've got like wheatgrass growing in my office, because you can even put it next to your bed at night, you guys, and it gives off like oxygen. You can put a tray Why don't you grab that other one? Yeah. Grab a tray of wheatgrass. We have a local grower growing this for us. So I have this whole thing like in my office, and it's like oxygenating, and that's what it does to your blood. It's like super close to your blood. It's plant blood. And there's a book everybody needs to read. And we're not like raw vegan people, you guys, but it's called Why Suffer, and Ann Wigmore wrote it. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Trudy, you would freaking love that. It's wild. Like, her story is wild. She was an immigrant, and she goes through like the whole story of her life back in Lithuania, Eastern Europe, and how she came here, and how she even like healed gangrene in her legs from the wheatgrass and the grass itself. It's just bizarre, but it's called Why Suffer. And it's just like a little pamphlet book, super quick read. I think I read it in 2 nights. And then she has another one on wheatgrass. So I just ordered a little hand crank. So Thaddeus and I take our fresh juice in the morning, and you guys, that's pure, structured, beautiful. What's the other word for like plant water? Structured, other than structured?
It's got bioavailable minerals because the plants have put those minerals into a more bioavailable form.
Yep.
And when you juice it, you're not getting a lot of the anti-nutrients. So there's like the whole carnivore movement, which says like plants are trying to kill you. But when you juice the plant, you get rid of a lot of those anti-nutrients, and you get more bioavailability and structured water that your body can utilize. So what we've been experimenting with is in the morning, we'll do like a green juice plus wheatgrass. And then, the rest of the time we're doing like raw milks and
raw honey
and meats, and we're not total carnivore, but we're carnivore-ish.
Right.
So we're kind of combining both those. And that's actually, so Ann Wigmore was all the way one way, which was all the way raw vegan plant. And then the carnivores are all the way the other way. But the guy that was in the middle was that Augenis Vanderplanets with the We Want to Live book. Really good book.
So here's some good resources for you guys. I was just going to finish with the Ann Wigmore. Her other, or maybe I said that her other book is just called Wheatgrass, whatever. And then Vanderplanet's book is called what?
We Want to Live.
We Want to Live. So you guys, what we do is like we take all the things that we learn about, right? And we're not dogmatic. And so we see what works for us, because as biohackers, we're always experimenting on our own body and like, how do I feel? So this morning I had a shot of chlorophyll, and Thaddeus made the green drink. We used cucumbers from our garden. We used, did you put any zucchini in there?
No, it was
celery,
lemon, and fresh local cucumber.
Yeah. And then for our breakfast, we had local goat yogurt. It's cultured goat yogurt or goat milk, and other things with that. So those are the things that I know about. Do you know about anything else for like radiation as far as taking internally?
Yep. And it'll be in our course. There's 3 researched supplements that people use for EMF protection.
Okay.
And if you're not around it normally and you're going to be around a lot, you can take these things. Or if you're just around it all the time at your daily job, these are supposedly very protective according to the research, and people are utilizing them with really good success. So that'll also be in our course. I might get to answering a question about that at the Wise Tradition Conference. I'm not sure if it comes up. But yes, there's definitely some stuff that's well studied. Trudy, you can hit us up after and we can tell you what those are.
Okay. Also, you guys, there's a question. I think we're talking about the rental car. And so Sarah wants to know, what about a USB charger in the car you own? Oh, you own. Okay. Are they still data?
Remember, I don't know what your car you drive. So like you drive a 2018 and prior car like we do. So far, I haven't had to get a car newer than 2018, and I don't intend to till I need to. But your newer cars, they're telling on you for how you drive. What do you think the Wi-Fi motion is doing? Look up. I think it's on Zero Hedge. So if you go to Zero Hedge, Wi-Fi motion, or Xfinity, whatever it is, the article from last week, it talks about the implementation of this Wi-Fi motion. Part of it is to identify how well you're driving your car. That's part of the reason they're implementing this. So if the Wi-Fi in your car is giving feedback to your Ford, Chevy, whomever, don't you think that maybe plugging into your own data port in your car is sending data back to the car company anonymously, quote unquote? I'm sure. So Yeah, I do think that our data from our cars, now that they're all connected, they're so connected. Like we talk about 5G millimeter wave radiation, and like I'm so afraid of 5G millimeter waves because they're super dangerous, and they are. Do you know where they're actually being used? Not in your cell phone, even though it says 5G, it's not. They're actually being used in the door opening systems of every store you walk into.
Target, Walmart, like all those places.
And your
Whole
car.
Foods.
And your car.
Okay.
So is your car sending data to the car companies? I guarantee they are. Is it sending your data when you plug in a USB cord? I don't know the answer to that. I do know that the car rental companies have been investigated for that, and it was found that they were taking your data. The actual car companies that you own, I don't know, but I would be careful. I would like some of these things that can save you from that are pretty inexpensive, and you can like build them into your car. So I don't know how worried I'd be about it in your own car, but if it is a car from 2020 or newer, I would be more concerned. And personally, like I'm not buying a car newer than 2018 until I absolutely have to, not because I'm scared, but I don't want to give more of my private data away. And I don't want all the EMF. There's radar, there's 5G millimeter waves, there's Wi-Fi, there's cell phone service built into the cars now, and Bluetooth. And all of that is always on and you can't turn it off. Even though it might be like disabled where you can't find it, it's still blasting out all the time. And usually you're sitting on those microwave antennas in the driver's seat.
Has anybody measured the Waymo cars yet?
Brian Hoyer has measured Tesla, Waymo, all those, but he keeps those private.
I say the Waymo must be off the charts.
I'm sure driverless cars are coming. So remember, we'll end maybe with this, but like the gig economy and Uber drivers and all that, that's going away. Like this year, I think they turn on the full automatic driving capability for Tesla. Full automatic. You do like in a Tesla, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like if you go full automatic mode and you don't grab the wheel and look around, it's watching you and it will give you a strike. And if you have 6 strikes, you lose the feature of that Tesla car. In the full auto mode, you can just sit back and sleep and it will drive. That means you don't need to be there like the Waymo cars. That means if you own a Tesla and they enable that mode on your car and you work from home, your car is now the Uber all by itself and you're making money while you're home, while your car drives itself around.
That's a good idea.
That's coming. So like that world is just about here. So if you're an Uber driver, probably start looking for something better to do because that's going to go away really quickly once all this stuff gets turned on, which is like probably this year or early next year.
I was just going to say, like, we should
It's
Uber.
not like 2030.
We should Uber instead of Waymo, but now you're like, Uber is going away, but it's going to be a while.
No, it's going to be this year or next.
What?
And it's going to be ridiculously cheap. So like,
what do you guys think?
when you can get a ride for $2 or 25 cents, you don't need to own a car.
The 15-minute city thing.
It doesn't even matter. Like I can go here to Minneapolis. That's like 20 miles away.
Really?
So like 20 miles, you can still probably do that in like for $5
Oh.
in the future, because everyone who owns a car is going to enable it to make them money. And there's going to be so many that the price has to drop. And therefore your car insurance and you needing to own a car go down quite a bit.
Well, let's just stay present, everybody. We have no idea when in fact that's going to happen, but
supposedly
we'll cross that bridge and we'll talk about it.
I think it's already built. It's already built into the Teslas, and they are turning it on. I think it's in October this year. So
really?
Then you'll start seeing that.
That's pretty. I mean, that's pretty wild. Wild times. It's a cool time to be alive, right? Sarah, I just want to say, Sarah also said, "Okay, getting a mic lock. It's been on my shopping list. Buying one now. Yay! Good for you, Sarah." I love the idea of the tray of wheatgrass next to the bed or in the office. Yeah.
Plants take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen.
Yeah.
So like having plants next to your bed is probably a great idea. And the wheatgrass is like, you saw the wheatgrass is like a pretty dense forest in there.
I know.
Of oxygen.
Pretty soon it's going to be a whole like shelf of those. I'm obsessed. Okay, guys. And one other thing about the oxalates in the wheatgrass is that it's the lowest amount of oxalates of any leafy green. So like the whole thing about kale having tons of oxalates, whatever, wheatgrass is not on that list, which I know you'd like to hear that.
Even if you're allergic to wheat, you can eat wheatgrass.
Yeah. And you can do it as an enema. And Wigmore, we'll end with that. And Wigmore is a plethora of information. So, okay, guys, that's it. That's a wrap. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.